Everything began in 1946 with what was called the Nuremberg Code, which begins with the following words: "The voluntary consent of the human subject is absolutely essential." Perhaps today these words appear, or may appear, completely obvious. We know that consent is necessary. Every intervention, even if limited, on our body requires us to sign a consent to the treatment at the doctor's or at the dentist's. But this was a revolution at the time, because before that moment people were subjected to medical power, to political power, and the discovery of the tragedies that could be produced by this subjection to others' power happened during Nazism. The Nuremberg Code owes its name not to the trials against Nazis, but to Nazi doctors. Their interrogatories and the documents collected show us this progressive and radical transformation of the human person being tested as object of a limitless power. And we react. We react with that document, which subverted the scheme used up to that moment. Instead of the power of the doctor, there is the power of the person. The consent of the person is absolutely essential. Some believe that in that moment a new moral subject was born. This expression is not excessive. A moral subject is a person who is capable of making decisions for themselves, without being subject to other people's power. It's a radical change, as I said, and this leads us to say that in that year we experienced the revolution of the informed consent, which has changed the world. The medical power and political power have proved that they are unable to stay within their limits. The medical power, the doctors who had sworn the Hippocratic oath, "I will apply for the benefit of the sick," had acted in the opposite way. The political power that, since the Magna Carta of 1215, had set a premise that remained in the history of the West: we will not get our hands on you. They had got their hands on people in the most violent way. Hence, that way of dealing with the issues of the relationship between people and external powers had shown its dramatic failure. And this is highlighted by the subversion of the perspective, a subversion that will later be shown in the first article of the German Basic Law, the Constitution of the Republic of Germany of 1949, which begins stating that human dignity shall be inviolable. Those words have been used as inspiration in 2000 by the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union. Up to that moment, two revolutions occurred: the revolution of informed consent and the revolution of dignity, which placed the person at the centre of attention, the world's attention, because the principle of informed consent became progressively, and not easily a point, a principle which today we absolutely cannot disregard.